Are you guys doing all right? Are you sitting down, standing up, having a good time? Not yet? Maybe we're about to. Check your cards, it may be in our future. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. I hope that you're having a fantastic one, a beautiful morning, a wonderful afternoon. Things are heating up, summer's right around the corner, or just a nice evening, a night to settle yourself down. Settle. I'm mixing words together. Listen, today, hope you have the time for some time. We're listening to, of course, Electric Light Orchestra's ELO album, Time, released in 1981. This would be their 9th studio album. We're diving in for a full album listen. I hope that you guys are here for it. I hope that you are looking forward to it. And I just hope that you're having a nice day as we settle down to go ahead and give this a listen. Why are we listening to this? Well, we're listening to this because this was suggested and sponsored by Vin. So Vin, thank you so much for the over-the-top support and for the request and for the support. I appreciate that quite a bit. We've listened to several albums from ELO, and this is now the next one here on the lineup. The album had also been suggested and at least mentioned by a few other people, and typing in my comments, Electric Light Orchestra and Time, it sometimes brings up other results that are more unintended. You know, Jörg de Vries, I see you right here. ELO is Time. David Emery, I don't think he actually recommended this album because we're talking about Mike Oldfield in here, but sometimes it pulls up other names and people and stuff, you know. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't always catch it right, but, you know, we go from there. And I tried to give credit where credit's due, but it doesn't always work. See, like here, I don't see that Joyce Babel mentioned Time, but yet it pulled it up. So I know there's a lot of you, and I apologize for not being able to catch all of your names. It's not you, it's the search engine in YouTube comments, and I can't be more specific, unfortunately, with my search there. I even typed in ELO in Time. It was worse. So it really didn't get anyone up here. Now, before we dive in, just as a forewarning, with ELO, the past few times I've listened to them, everything's been blocked. So there's a chance that this video here on YouTube may be cut up, and you'll have to go to Patreon for the full reaction. It's free. Just go there. In case this gets blocked, just go to the Patreon, watch it for free. You don't have to sign up or anything. It's right there. So just as an aside, I want there to be at least a forewarning before we actually dive into it. And to get the plugs out the way, if you don't mind, the Buy Me a Coffee is there if you'd like to sponsor a song request as well. It's just one way to skip ahead in the line. The Patreon does have exclusive content, though if this ends up there, it will not be exclusive. It's just open to the public. If you don't mind pressing that like button, it helps a great deal as well. Guys, it is time to dive in. I've heard that this is a concept album of sorts, and even Vin had said that, you know, a lot of the tracks will run quite nicely together. Obviously, I'm not going to, for reaction purposes, sit here and let the whole album just run back to front. We got to stop it a little bit, but we'll make sure that we back it up and catch those transitions into some of the moments. So let's go ahead and begin with the first track, which is Prologue, which is only a minute long or so. So we'll let that lead into the next one, which is Twilight. At least capture these two tracks. And listen, that's all I got to say. I think I've spoken enough. 3:38. Not bad timing. Listen, hope you guys are doing well. This sip of sugar-free coffee. See you.
Where darkness and light are one, and as you tread them.
With your head held high and your scarlet lights again.
Let's break down quickly. Okay, we gotta let it stop somewhere. Okay. Twilight has a deep Beatles and Queen influence, but it's still so much ELO. Are you kidding me? I like how they take their symphonic rock sound, that massive wall of sound that they bring, and yet they change it here into something a little bit more synthy. Not that we haven't heard that before, but it seems to be a lot more at the forefront of the mind musically, especially in the opening with the vocoder. Heavy, thick, dense vocoder being used there. And I like how as it transitions into Twilight, the vocoder is still present, but it's used kind of inserted in between the lines of the delivery. Lin sounds fantastic in every single respect on this one. His singing is wonderful. The little vocal rises, that cadence in particular, is so good, so sweet to listen to, and very exciting as well. And Bevan playing drums here. And I like how the drums had that kind of gated sound to it. So it makes it even bigger. It makes that sound when they come crashing down on the skins and on the heads of the drums that much more powerful. And it almost has an implosive kind of action to it. And yet that when he drums there, especially in those fills, that's when it's most noticeable. It spits us out into the next section as a nice transition there, adding power upon power in these layers. That's absolutely fantastic. Tandy on the pianos, synths. He's credited with the vocoder, but so is Lin, so who knows who's doing what exactly. I would imagine that Tandy's taking the vocoder section in Twilight here, just as a back and forth with Jeff. I could be wrong, though. But either way, the pianos, the synths, the sounds of them are so fun to listen to. It has a sequencing kind of sound, so almost like a little bit of a Tangerine Dream kind of idea behind that. But like I said, the way that ELO performs it is something much more grand, majestic, and symphonic in every single respect. Kelly Grucut on the bass and some backing vocals as well here. And can I tell you, I mean, the bass is there, clearly, you hear it throughout. But man, it's synth-driven and vocal-driven, this particular track. And with ELO, they always have an intro track to kind of set up the theme and set us up the pieces so that the pieces can begin to move forward in whatever plot we have. And that's no doubt no different here with that intro, which I think is a nice way to get us in. It's a quick one, too. And then it moves us right along to that first track, which is an energetic screamer of a track here. Now, what we should do is look at the concept of this album before we dive into the lyrics. Let's do that. let's just read a little bit before we move any further. I'm on the wrong article. Here we go. It's a concept album about a man from the 1980s who is taken to the year 2095, where he is confronted by the dichotomy between technological advancement and a longing for past romance. Okay, do you move forward as the machine, or do you stay back as flesh? The record topped the UK album chart for 2 weeks, so it attracted mixed reviews. I don't want to read too much just yet. I more want to just kind of follow the story for now. I just want to kind of stick with that for just a brief moment. So let me get into the lyrics of Prologue first. Just on the border of your waking mind, there lies another time where darkness and light are one, and as you tread the halls of sanity, you feel so glad to be unable to go beyond. I have a message from another time. I feel like this is his future self talking to him, like sending him a message backwards, just to make a choice almost. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm kind of thinking. And he's in the twilight of that time. You know, the twilight is the time between, daybreak and night. Where are we going? And vice versa. The visions dancing in my mind, the early dawn, the shades of time, twilight crawling through my window pane. Am I awake or do I dream? The strangest pictures I have seen. Night is day and twilight's gone away. With your head held high and your scarlet lies, you came down to me from the open skies. It's either real or it's a dream. There's nothing that's in between. Twilight, I only mean to stay a while. Twilight, I gave you time to steal my mind away from me. I gave you an opportunity. I gave you a chance, but it seems that has not quite happened. Across the night, I saw your face. You disappeared without a trace. You brought me here, but can you take me back? Inside the image of your light, that now is day and once was night. You leave me here, and then you go away. See, now is day and once was night. Day could almost be representing a knowledge being given to him as he's, presumably now in the future. His eyes have been open in a sense, and he's saying, before I was unaware, I was naive, I was ignorant, but now I've been exposed to this, having a little bit of knowledge in a certain way. You brought me here, but can you take me back again? Sounds like Samurai Jack. And then it's it's a backwards delivery here. You still wander the fields of your sorrow, though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow. That's kind of cool. I like that. That's actually a cool phrase there. Let's look at some of the info about this particular track here. Lyrics tell every man who, like I said, who falls asleep while in twilight state, where he imagines everything in his life that is going to happen to him. They contribute to the album's overarching theme of time travel. Barry Dells says that a cacophony of sound effects transport us chaotically to the year 2095 to start the album, and that the song doesn't stop or pause for at least 2 minutes, making it one of the most exciting experiences ELO ever gave you. Delves suggests the piano break is influenced by Rachmaninoff. Interesting. I would have never thought about it, but I guess it does have a certain classical brashness to it. Billboard said it's more intricate than most ELO songs, and that a grand orchestral build coincides with swirling vocal harmonies for great effect. 100%. Yeah, it is a pounding tune, but still has that soaring arrangement favored by the Beatles and so many other uptempo songs. Clear influence there. Like I said, it's not like we haven't heard that influence before, but it's nice to hear it again. It was the second single release from the album, peaking at number 30 and hitting 38 as well. And there's your chart information as well here. Fantastic one. Let's go ahead and move on into the next track here, which is going to be, I got to pull back up to the track listing, Yours Truly, 2095. And let me back it up just a bit into Twilight, the end of it, and we'll let it transition on in. Sorry, that was loud. I apologize. It was a loud open. I'm sorry.
I just can't conceive.
Hey.
Can you hear me? Try to touch you, she makes it all too clear. Is it what you really want? Is it what you want? Is it what you want? Is it what you really want? Is it what you really want?
I know that we're nowhere near even the middle of this album, but that is my favorite song right now. I'm just putting it out there. That is my favorite song, and I can tell you exactly why. It's brilliant. That's why. It is pop perfection. A slice of the best pie you've ever had in your life. Can I tell you also another thing before I get too deep into it? I know that one reason that I'm biased and I'm liking this song, this album came earlier than the band I'm about to mention, but just so you know, I'm setting the record straight now before I say it. I would not doubt it if the band Gorillaz, Air, maybe a little Daft Punk were somewhat inspired by this album. Because the sound in here and Yours Truly is giving me a little bits of each of those groups. And I'm really feeling like Gorillaz in this one. The way he sings, I love it. It is a beautiful rainbow of melody, this whole thing. The bass is driving and grooving really nicely. The drums are forward, keeping the movement, but then the vocals, the way that he's singing, is kind of like restrained. Obviously working very well with the theme and what he's singing about, but there's almost a shyness, almost a pulling away in the vocals, like da 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 da. He's not singing as exuberant as in the previous track of Twilight. It's a little bit more held back, a little shrieking away. And I think it works so well because the delivery is still fast and there's still a swing to it. And then when it gets into the chorus, 2095, you have that vocoder there once again, and the yours truly, like it's just extremely catchy. In a groovy track. The break is cool as well, kind of providing a little bit of drama there in the break. We get a response from the machine, the IBM. I'm imagining that's probably Kelly Grucut there. Well, maybe no, Kelly's a guy. I don't know who's in that case. I'm not sure whose vocal is back there, but either way, brilliant. Like this to me is a standout track. And can I tell you another thing? I'm looking at the streaming numbers on Spotify. This is like middle. 7 million streams for Yours Truly. Twilight, 21 million. Ticket to the Moon, which is the next track, 14 million. This to me is like I don't know. I haven't heard the rest of the album yet, but to me, it's a big standout. And you get the nice mixture of the real strings, those orchestral elements, mixed with the synths as well, which sounds fantastic the way that they bring these two elements together. Man, Yours Truly. Oh, man. This was good. I love you sincerely, Yours truly, yours truly. I sent a message to another time, but as the days unwind. Just snappy, man. This I just can't believe. I sent a note across another plane. Maybe it's all a game, but this I just can't conceive. Can you hear me? I drive the very latest hover car. I don't know where you are, but I miss you so much. Till then, I met someone who looks a lot like you. She does the things you do, but she is an IBM. She's just computer. Can I tell you? I'm going to pull up my Goodreads real quick. I don't know if I can recommend it. It's a hard book to read. It's literally kind of a hard book to read. But I've read 20 books so far in the year. I'm making it. I would recommend This Is How You Lose the Time War. It's a really good book, but it's incredibly unique. This one. And it's a love story. Well, I guess it's not spoiling. It's a love story between two soldiers in the Time War. What's the Time War? You just gotta figure it out. I don't know. The whole sending a message to another time made me think about that, because that is how they communicate in the Time War, through messages back and forth between each other. Okay. Let's see. She's an IBM. I love you. Yours truly. She's only programmed to be very nice, but she's as cold as ice. Whenever I get too near, she tells me that she likes me very much. But when I try to touch, she makes it all too clear. That is not what the dish tray is for. She is the latest in technology, almost mythology, but she has a heart of stone. She has an IQ of 1001. She has a jumpsuit on, and she's a telephone. She's everything. Is that what you want? Is that what you really want? I realize it must seem strange that time has rearranged, but time has the final word. She knows I think of you. She reads my mind. She tries to be unkind. She knows nothing of our world. Although her memory brings overflow, no one would ever know. For all she says, is that what you want? And like how that's when we have her voice come through. Maybe one day I'll feel her cold embrace and kiss her inner face. Till then, I'll leave her alone. Is that what you really want? I mean, while he's in the future, win in Rome, I guess. Yeah. Let's move on to the next track here, which is Ticket to the Moon. Let me back it up just a little bit.
Is that what you want?
That's a song. It's a great line. That's really
your
good.
eyes. Ticket to the moon.
Sing it, brother.
Right leaves here.
Ticket to the Moon is that beautiful, beautiful power, emotional piece in the track, in the album rather, the track listing. And I like how after Yours Truly, which is energetic and just fun, this one slows things down a little bit. And, when you think of a rocket launch, this is my mind, okay? Imagine you're in a space shuttle, lift off, you're going up, right? You breach the Earth's atmosphere and you enter the cold darkness of space. There's a moment where you don't even hear the engines anymore. You're just kind of almost like the gravity just wears off and you're just floating. And yes, literally perhaps you're floating, but it's almost like this beautiful calm, this peace. This is how I imagine it. And Ticket to the Moon is that calm, is that peace. Jeff Lynne's singing is fantastic here. There's bits of it that remind me a little bit of Freddie Mercury in delivery, but Lynne is singing in his own way, and he sounds like himself. I love, especially you hear it more on the first verses where things are more calm. You hear that little vibrato on the end of some of his lines, and I love it. He adds just a subtle one in there, and it just makes the whole thing that much more unique and sounds like him. And then as the music kicks in, the chorus, I love how all of the vocal lines interact with each other in the way they sing. Obviously you have the main Ticket to the Moon, but then constantly there's backing vocals coming up, almost following in tandem right beneath him. And then on the third time that they say Ticket to the Moon, the backing vocals change in the sense of where they're placed. They sing the Ticket to the Moon part a little quicker. So taking away the music aspect for a second and just focusing on the vocals, there's a nice complexity to how they're delivering their lines and such there, which I thought was really, really fantastic. I also like how there's one moment where the synth comes in, where it sounds like it's going to solo, and it kind of does for a bit, and then it just kind of lays down and cools its jets, and allows the rest of the music to kind of take place on top of it while it goes back to padding. It's just a really well-made song and very emotional and powerful the way it's sung and performed. Ticket to the Moon is like, I think that very inspirational track, that one that really gets people out of their seats and pulls their lighters out into the air. And seeing that it has 14 million streams at least on Spotify here, kind of lays a little bit of evidence towards that. And it does have a Wikipedia article, so I'm assuming it's a single as well. Yours truly should have been a single. That one's a burner. Remember the good old 1980s when things were so uncomplicated. I wish I could go back there again and everything could be the same. I've got a ticket to the moon. I'll be leaving here any day soon. Yeah, I've got a ticket to the moon, but I'd rather see the sunrise in your eyes. That's a great line, right? The way he sings it, touching. But I love this line that follows. Got a ticket to the moon. I'll be rising high above the earth so soon. And the tears I cry might turn into the rain that gently falls upon your window. That's a really nice line. That's a brilliant line. And then he closes it with "You'll never know." The stab, the pain, that emotional ugh. Right after such a sensitive line there. Fly, fly through a troubled sky, up to a new world shining bright. Whoa, whoa. Flying high above, soaring madly through the mysteries that come, wondering sadly if the ways that led me here could turn around and I would see you there. Standing, waiting, standing there. Ticket to the moon. Flight leaves here today from Satellite 2. As the minutes go by, what shall I do? I pay the fare. What more can I say? It's just one way. It's a one-way ticket to the moon. And you can't go back. At least not on that particular line. Oh, I forgot. Got the Wikipedia article here. Let's see. It was track 4 on the album, obviously. Reached number 24 in the UK charts. Barry Dove feels that it is appropriately paired with Ticket to the Moon. He's talking about Here Is the News on the single, since both songs share lyrical references and have a similar string arrangement. Let's see. The song is somewhat reminiscent of their earlier output, featuring grand piano and more strings than their past singles. Rainer Pietsch conducted the strings on the song. Let's see. Dove calls it a fine ELO ballad, introduced by a piano piece reminiscent of Moonlight Sonata. I thought that, but I didn't say that. And it goes on from there. Where did it reach? 4 in French SNEP singles charts. German media, 61. Irish singles charts, 17. And UK at 24. Let's move on to the next track here, which is going to be The Way Life's Meant to Be. A little bit of Ticket to the Moon to lead us in. The ending, preferably. It's a wonderful time. Great way to spend some time, huh?
Although it's only a day since I was taken away. Is this the way life's meant to be?
It's got a Western kind of sound too.
As I wander around this wreck of a town where people never.
The Western country kind of sound that they have going on here, and it's really cool because even the vocoder has been relegated to something more in the background occasionally. Like the harmonies that come in, the delivery of them is still very much in that Western theme, but they are still singing in that vocoded sound. So I think that's cool. Like the track is called The Way Life's Meant to Be, and he's reminiscing, he's reflecting, he's like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this how life is supposed to end up? And I like that it goes back to an earthy kind of sound here with this particular genre switch. Gone are these spacey synths and cosmic keys and, all these swelling orchestrations of, some space opera. No, we come back to something a little more simple, a little more acoustic guitar, the riffing, you can hear the strings, the heart, the flesh, the human. The drums, you have that Western sound, ba-ba-bum. Those big timpanis back there, which I really like how those come through. And like I said, in the chorus, the back and forth that you have, how I wonder, like that part, it really reminds me of like an old, like I'm thinking like 60s, 70s kind of country rock style, like that kind of sound. And there's It's like giving like Conway Twitty. Like there's a part in the verse. The way the verse is performed is making me think of another song, and I can't think of what song that is. But the verse itself is sounding very familiar, almost as if, I wouldn't say that this song is parodying anything, but almost as if it's kind of winking at another particular, I'm thinking like a country western song, but I don't know. I'm feeling something. I just can't think of what it is. The bringing in the castanets is fun. Like, it just sounds fun. But once again, it's a nice, emotionally resonant track here. Following up Ticket to the Moon. Like, these two tracks have been reflective, but nonetheless still powerful in that emotional way. Let's look at these lyrics. Well, I came a long way to be here today, and I left you so long on this avenue. And here I stand in the strangest land, not knowing what to say or do. As I gaze around at these strangers in town, I guess the only stranger is me. You're the new one in town. Everyone else knows each other. And I wonder, yes, I wonder, is this the way life's meant to be? Although it's only a day since I was taken away and left standing here looking in wonder. Oh, the ground at my feet, maybe it's just the old street, but everything that I know lies under. Like, literally, the city has been built on top of his, the places that he knew, but also now he's kind of standing on top of his old life to an extent. And when I see what they've done to this place that was home, shame is all that I feel. Too late to cry, the people say. Too late for you, too late for me. You've come so far, now you know everything, my friend. Right? Just like the whole day, night, twilight part. Look and see the wonders of our world. Is this the way life's meant to be as I wander around this wreck of a town where people never speak aloud, where it's with its ivory towers and its plastic flowers? Ivory towers. The people live in ivory towers. I wish I was back in 1981 just to see your face instead of this place. Now I know what you mean to me. It's always when you don't have what you want that you don't know how much you want it. Something like that. Let's look at some of the info on this particular track. It was eventually released as a single in '82. It was the first time song to be recorded and was played in a studio different from the one most songs in the album were recorded. It was the final time single to be released as well. That's a really great album artwork for the single. I like that. And thematically, it makes good sense as well. I like that. The song is more Southern European influenced than other ELO songs and features instruments such as castanets. It deals with the narrator's experience in the future, feeling dismay as a street he remembers has been distorted from his memory. He's a little homesick. It did not chart in the UK and the US, though it peaked at number 30 in West Germany. Lynn describes early takes of the song as a bit Russian until castanets were added, which made it more Spanish. I suppose those backing vocals in the chorus itself kind of sound, I guess, a little bit Russian, so to speak. It was recorded under the working title Some Russian, possibly for the song's burly vocals. There you go. Yeah, and I didn't even mention that. The way that Lynn sings here, I kind of mentioned it. I like how there's not really any, no vocoder, he's not singing so polished. It sounds earthy, and I like that for a song like this with the themes. And it goes on from there. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Another Heart Breaks. Here we go. Kind of Vangelis a little bit. On the album. No, I'm not kidding. I love that sound. that is the sound that I could sit here and listen to all day, relax. It sounds like a synthy beach. So hear me out. Also, this track little bit kind of sounds like ELO going Depeche Mode, Black Celebration era. It kind of has a darkness to it. It's slowed down, it's moody, but there's still bits of light in there. So it sounds like, to me in my ears, like you have that, I always forget, that lap steel guitar that kind of has a Hawaiian kind of sound, but they use it here in almost like this kind of weird swirling effect. It has this kind of sound to it that almost sounds like it's breaking down slightly or warping in the heat, but still holding just enough form that it sounds right and it's not like off key or anything. I think that sounds really cool amongst the light keys that kind of glitter in this particular track. The way that Jeff sings here, or speaks, I guess you could say. Like I said, that's where I'm feeling some of this Depeche Mode a little bit. He just kind of sings in a gloomy, distraught way. The track is called Another Heart Breaks. Guess whose heart it is? It's his. He's the unlucky fellow. And like, I like how we get this moment of depression, but they make it sound like cool. Like, it sounds down, no doubt, but it sounds cool. The melodies are extremely catchy. The bass warping around all this. The keys are fun to listen to. It's just a really great track that, like, it could almost be an instrumental, but I like the addition of just a few and far between words that he uses. It's just reiterating how he feels and, like I said, how down in the dumps in particular he is. Another heart breaks, another heart breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another heart breaks. He's just counting the seconds. Everyone's heart is breaking. Like I said, there's not much lyrically to dive into that one, but we find our protagonist down in the dumps, even while being up in the moon in this particular section here. And this ends the first side of the album. Are you guys having a good time? Yours truly. And this one, Another Heart Breaks. We're in for a good time here right now. So let's go ahead and move on to the second side. Fill your cups with whatever you need to fill it with. Go grab a drink of water. I'll be here when you get back. Grab a snack. Do whatever you got to do. Go to the bathroom. And let's move on to the next track here. Rain is Falling, starting off the set. Oh, Rain is Falling, just like his tears that he said. What a great little piece of thematic continuity. The tears he said in the previous track that, she won't even know that they're falling. Well, what do you know? Rain is falling. A lot of rain. Especially as his heart is breaking.
Looking from this window, 1,000 rivers running. The rain is falling. As the raindrops hit the ground.
I love that synth sound.
The rain keeps on falling.
Can I say with Rain is Falling, some very, 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 very tasteful synth playing in here. Playing in a way that, yes, plays a certain melody and keeps that to our attention, keeps it in tune, in line, and very catchy. But then quite a few times during this track, kind of going off and I wouldn't say performing a solo, but just kind of playing out of pocket, but in a really nice way that enhances the story. Kind of like how the thunder and lightning and rain sound effects are there to enhance the story and bring us as the listener into the story and kind of give us almost an audio-visual kind of sound or feeling. I feel like the synth is doing a great job of doing that as well. I think that it makes an impact thematically at certain points kind of falling as a soft rain and at others kind of hitting a thunderous stride there. And throughout it all, Lynn himself is just singing so soulfully, almost like he's standing alone in this town or wherever, and he's the only one standing out in the rain, soaked by it. Everyone else is scared, running away, but he's there enduring it and like, hey, just kind of puzzled about it a little bit. And the way that Bev Bevan plays the drums is stately and builds up nicely into those bigger moments. And this one isn't big in moments in like a heavy way, but still in a sweeping symphonic kind of manner in the way that we've come to expect. And that sounds absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful and powerful, the way that it comes together on this one. Let me get to these lyrics here. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Early in the morning, the sun was up and the sky was very blue. And I like how with this sunrise happening, we come back into the synth side of things, as opposed to the previous tracks. And where we ended last, we're back to the machinery, the synthy nature of this new world. But it comes across with more of a positive outlook. Without a warning, as I looked out, my thoughts returned to you. A noise in the city made the children run and hide themselves away. Thunder boomed and lightning filled the sky. Looking from this window, 1,000 rivers running past my door. Standing on an island, looking for someone upon the shore. I can see it very clearly. Nothing's really changed. The lightning strikes across an empty sky. The rain is falling. Will it wash away those lonely tears? Like how you got the kids. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. With their brand new time transporter, they'll think maybe I fought to get away. But with all their great inventions and all their good intentions, here I stay. Down on the corner where the sun had shone, the people gathered round, then scattered as the raindrops hit the ground. So why are they scared of the rain? It flooded apparently. 1,000 rivers running past my door. I feel like there might be something more to it though. This was released as the third single from the album. Rain is Falling uses rain as a metaphor for loss and sadness. Yeah, I got that, but I want to know, like, story-wise, it seems like there's something literal about it. Delve remarks that the third verse follows the album's time travel concept and may seem to have little to do with the rest of the song. Contains references to nursery rhymes. That's the word I was thinking of. It's called a grand orchestral showcase. Yeah, it's all those things. But I feel like there's something to the story. Maybe I should look here a little bit more. Let's see. Background and recording. Maybe I'm just trying to follow this. Here we go. The concept. Would you mind if I like caught myself up on the concept and the story up to where we are? I don't want to get too lost. I want to kind of know where we are. Lynn's comments on the album's concept are as follows. In 1981, a man drifts into a state of twilight where he appears to have entered the year 2095, meets a gynoid. Do I dare hover above that? Because I can think of another syllable that goes in front of gynoid, but I'm not doing it. And reflects on the 1980s, back when things were so uncomplicated. Walking down the same street from 100 years before, he is dismayed by the plastic flowers and ivory towers which have grown on top of it. As he remains in this future period, he looks out his window depressed, watching the world go by. Rain is falling. Okay, so I haven't missed anything necessarily yet. All right, I feel good then. I thought that maybe I was missing something happening in the story that I really should have been latching onto, but no, we're actually doing quite fine so far. Okay, the lights go down is where we're. I'm sorry. The end of the world is where we're moving on here. Let me just get here into the end of this particular downpour. It's nice backward.
From the end of the world. Oh, you.
Kind of a Stevie Wonder kind of sound.
I sent a dream to you, baby, last night. From the end of the world.
Third best song on the album. Ooh. Oh. Whoa. That's a good one. Jeff singing. Oh. That second verse, I almost didn't think it was him. Maybe it's not. No, it has to be. The way he comes down is killer. The beginning of the song starts off in like a very cool synth pop kind of way, and then the chorus moves on from that style into something like kind of older, I don't know, like 70s maybe? No, 60s. Somewhere in there. I don't know. It moves into a different kind of rock and roll style. But then the piano that comes in during that first chorus is used as this really cool transitional thread to move it back into a little bit of a break and then into the verse again, into that synth pop kind of style. That was brilliant how the piano was used there. It could be Lynn playing there. I think it's going to be Tandy on that particular section. Like, seriously, killer. I think I would go out on a limb and I would say that that's one of the best moments on the album. Just that particular moment from the first chorus transitioning to the next verse and the way the piano is used there. Because of how intelligent it's used and creatively it's used, like it starts off playing in that style of the chorus, but it morphs itself and worms itself into the verse there and going back to that synth poppiness. That's brilliant. The vocal riff and the end, a great vocal run. And I like how Jeff doesn't really, in my opinion, he doesn't like show off through the album. He just lets his talent do the talking for him. But that's a moment. He stands business on stage and says, "Yeah, I'm gonna run this one," and he nails it just brilliantly. That bass and that pulse of the music is fun. Bum 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 bum. It has a chase kind of atmosphere, and Jeff just weaves in and out of it. So cool. It sounds like a chase scene, but like a cool neo noir kind of chase scene through some techno city place. Oh, you're so hard to get to. You don't want to play. You were no better before. I sent a letter before I sent a dream to you last night from the end of the world. Oh, you keep me hanging around and round and round. Oh, look at all the trouble I found. You were no better before I sent a letter before I sent a dream to you last night from the end of the world. He's trying to get in contact with her. I saw you last night, but you couldn't answer. You were a lonely little sidewalk dancer. When I woke up, I could not stand it. You were gone, but I gotta hand it to you. Please, if this was a game, I wish someone would win. Please just let it fly to me upon the wind. I don't know, he's trying to make contact with her, but I don't know, maybe she's busy. She's busy right now. Let's move on to the next track here, which is The Lights Go Down. Let me back it up here just a bit.
The lights go down.
The opening. The Lights Go Down to me is possibly the most feel-good song on the album. It is incredibly catchy. I mean, if you haven't heard all the melodies on this album, you haven't heard all the melodies on this album, but it's incredibly catchy, soothing. You could sing this anywhere. The lights go down, baby. I love the, to me, it's kind of like a doo-wop style, but not quite. Not so heavy-handed in that style, but like I would say the vocal is clearly inspired by that. And especially during the chorus, which we hear several times, the assortment of voices, but then sometimes you have that lower, like that lower baritone voice come through. And it just makes it so fun to listen to. There's almost a tropical-esque kind of sound to this one, as well as it sounds like we kind of get some references of like maybe that lap steel or something kind of like it that just hits that kind of sound that's sliding on the pitches here in this one. But this is to me like an easy-going, relaxed, don't think too much. The lights are going down, can't stop it, let it happen, take a drink on the beach kind of track, you know. And I think that's Jeff sings it wonderfully, but it's that chorus, which fortunately they repeat many, many times throughout, that really will stick in your mind. One day I got to get out of here. I got to make everything clear. Got to see you. I know the way that I feel is wrong, so wrong, but I got to carry on when you ain't around. What could that mean? I believe things are going wrong and the night goes on and on. All your dreams have flown away and the sun won't shine today. The lights go down. Still want you, baby. The lights go down. There's no one around. I know you're waiting so close to me, but how will you ever see as time rolls away? Lonely, but trying to be so proud, and just as I turn around, the lights go down. Will this story have a happy ending? I don't know. The lights are going down, but he still wants you, baby. Let me look at let's see where we are. Let's see where we are in the concept here. Okay. He attempts to send a letter in the form of a dream to his girlfriend in the past, but fails. Okay. Let's see. When asked whether the man's experiences had been a dream all along, I don't want to know yet. I don't know. I don't want to read about that. I want to know where we are. Okay. Rocco's writer says the protagonist revisits the place he once lived, only to find that it has once become unrecognizable. Yeah, the way life's meant to be. Afterwards, he hopes that he may be able to return home with a time machine, but all their great inventions and all their good intentions, here I stay. Following his... I don't want to read about the end. Okay, well, I'm assuming maybe. I think he's just perhaps... I don't want to read more of the story because apparently it's spoiling stuff in there. I think that, listen, it's not looking good. But I still need you, baby. So that's what I'm thinking. Let's move on to the next track here, which is Here's the News. Is it good news? Is it bad news? Sometimes it's just the news. Baby. Come on. The lights go. Ooh, sorry.
Here's the news.
Officers led to over 2,000 passengers being held up for up to 10 hours to board flight.
Time to say hello to everybody.
Here's the news. It had a certain speed and energy to it. And when you think of like, what's that typical news sound? Like when there's like a breaking report, like beep, 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 like that. Is that ticker tape or whatever that sound is? Like, I feel like the energy in this track is like that. It's just constantly moving. It's just the stream of news, stream of information, downloading directly into your brain. It's like a recent episode that we watched of Doctor Who. It's just like downloading into you, and it's just never ending. Good, bad, doesn't matter. Here's the news. Here's what's happening. And I feel like the synths especially, like they really take that character and that theme upon themselves with the way that they play. Still extremely melodic, but there's a certain transmission sound to it. Some of the sequencing and some of the playing it, like their arpeggios and stuff, it really sounds like that constant, not literally a beep, 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 but it just feels like a musical interpretation of that sound. And this one kind of comes and goes kind of quick, in my opinion. I don't love this track, but I think that, once again, the synths are really what's captured my attention in it. And I love the energy and the flow of it. The vocals kind of just fly under the radar. They just kind of, it just feels like this wireless transmission, the way that they just come through. But I feel like this track doesn't make as big of an impact. And it's not hitting me quite the same as every other track so far. Not that it's a bad one. It flies by me. It comes in one ear and then it's kind of out the other. Although I gotta say, like, it sounds fun to listen to. Especially this. There's just constantly this depth when it comes to this synth. And I feel like maybe in one hand, this could be the most layers of keys and such that we hear. I would argue that one. But yeah, not my favorite track on the album. Here is the news, coming to you every hour upon the hour, except the lyrics, they're funny. Here's the news. The weather's fine, but there may be a meteor shower. Here's the news. A cure has been found for good old rocket lag. Here's the news. Someone left their life behind in a plastic bag. Hopefully, someone picks it up at the Lost and Found. Spakeverse. Oh, I also like the chorus, how you have an actual announcement happening underneath all the synths and textures that are going on. I feel like that actually makes for a really good listen. Space workers dispute in London today as a lightning strike by air shuttle officers led it to over 2,000 passengers being held up for up to 10 hours to board flights. A little delay. 10 Euro technicians were today sentenced by the Justice Computer to be banished for life. Where are they going to go? To the prison satellite Pinot 111. Well, there you go. You're a belter now. Here's the news. Another action-filled adventure. Here's the news. All the worst from the World Convention. Scientists have revealed that time travel, I guess we'll never know. The chairs of, I guess because our protagonist is trying to find his way back. Nope. The chairs of Robocode developments are now claiming, say, he was a very great friend of mine to our regular schedule programmings. Just random transmissions coming at you quick and fast. 12 illnesses discovered. The latest report from the people down there. Tiny little details. So I just really like to go home and say hello to everybody. Sounds familiar. I want to go home. I want my baby back. I want to go back. Somebody has broken out of Satellite 2. Look very carefully. It may be you. Mom, I'm on the TV. The Energy Council today announced the Archbishop was waving to the crowds. The World Broadcasting Authority today announced, I think it's going to be all right. You'll have to wait and see. I'll call you back later. The latest report from the People Counting and Population Control Center estimates, you never get the important part, do you? The spokesperson for the center announced, and that's it. Oh, I forgot we got the Wikipedia article here. Let's see. It's released as a double A side along with Ticket to the Moon, as we saw. Reached number 24 in the UK charts. The song makes heavy use of synths, but also includes guitar, bass, piano, and a drum kit. Who calls it a drum kit? Just call it drums. The song is in strophic form. What's that mean? Verse repeating form, chorus form, strophic form. Song structure in which all verses or stanzas of the text are sung to the same music. Gotcha. That's why it sounds so fluid and flowing, like how I said. Makes sense. The song is about the news programs of 2095. Yeah, we know. The song acts as a doom-laden news bulletin full of chattering voices and space-age electronic effects. 4 on French Snap singles chart. I'm going to say it like that every time. 17 Irish singles, UK 24. Along with Ticket to the Moon. Let's move on to the next track here, which is going to be 21st Century Man.
You can do most anything. Now you're a 20. So why are you so lonely? Suitcase. You're not a 21st century man.
Okay, 21st Century Man. I love how nearing the end of this album, we get this beautiful, almost heavenly sounding track with the way that it's all like radiantly building up. I'm sorry I mentioned them again, but I gotta say Beatles and Queen, that chorus, God, it's so coded in Beatles and Queen. But listen, it's ELO. They do it their own way, and they do it great and big. The rise, the in the chorus is a joy to listen to. It's a pleasure in every single respect. The solo is fantastic. I love those long sustained notes, and here it's no different in the way that it comes out of the music and then eventually fades away as well. Into, eventually we get the last chorus and those footsteps at the end. I don't know where we're walking or who's walking to us, but we're going to find out. We got to hold on tight. But I think that this song feels really nice, especially at this point in the album. It just feels like, well, it's not like the penultimate track. It's giving off that particular energy, like we're nearing the end of this journey. And from the beginning of what we heard on Hold On Tight, like it sounds like we might rock out one last time or something. But I think that this was a really nice piece of closure, even though we're not quite closing off yet. But I really love the way that their voices rose and kind of waved in the musical wind that we heard here. It's really, really a beautiful track. A penny in your pocket, suitcase in your hand. They won't get you very far. Now you're a 21st century man. Fly across the city, rise above the land. You can do most anything. Now you're a 21st century man. Though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow, you still wander the fields of your sorrow. What will it bring? Just like the first track. Or second track. One day you're a hero, next day you're a clown. There's nothing that is in between. You're a 21st century man. You should be so happy, you should be so glad. Why are you so lonely, you 21st century man? I like the change in perspective here. Alternate course. You stepped out of a dream believing everything was gone. Return with what you've learned. They'll kiss the ground you walk upon. You could be the future man. Things ain't how you thought they were. Nothing you have planned. So pick up your penny in your suitcase. You're not a 21st century man. I love this change in perspective. And the lyrics repeat here. Though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow, you still wander the fields of your sorrow. Tomorrow, 21st century man. And then you get that backwards part again. You still wander the fields of your sorrow, though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow. I remembered what it said and said it right there, but read it, make sure nothing's changed in there. Let's move on to the next track here. Hold On Tight, which I'm going to let go into the epilogue because it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds there. So let's go ahead and let them go together and finish out the album. It's like Iron Man. Very much like Iron Man. And a quick guitar rip, too. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm curious about the ending. Was it going back into prologue? No, it didn't seem like it. Okay, so, well, first of all, full album reaction, time, ELO. I'm curious about what happened at the end. I don't think, unless I'm missing something, it doesn't sound like it was a happy ending here. Maybe it was. I mean, it says then he arrives on this day of all days. May the world still remember him. So maybe it does end with him getting back there. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I love how we go into Hold On Tight. It's like a bluesy rock and roll track with some really fantastic piano and nice guitar in there as well. Like just, I mean, truly, we rock out in the penultimate track. You know, the previous track before that I felt had a more emotional weight. But this one is like, I'm gonna try and get back. You're holding on to your dreams. I'm not giving up hope. And I like how the music captures that feeling, captures that spirit, and so it moves forward with great inspiration there, and just rocks out with the best of them, saying, "I'm not giving up. We're going. We're doing what we want to do." And I think that Jeff sounds great in here. I like how it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Bowie for some reason, and in like style, in a little bit. Like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like this. Not the backing vocal part. We're kind of going back to that older style. But the verse right there kind of reminds me of Bowie for some reason. That mean Iron Man guitar that comes in, just growling at certain points, is really cool. A nice little touch in there. But that's like a party track. A barn burner. And then with Epilogue, we end with that real true emotional gut punch as we end the album in a really fantastic and gorgeous way. And like Prologue does a great job of setting you up, Epilogue does a great job of setting you down and giving just one last final ride around, perhaps in this time machine, and then putting the story to rest with some really calm and like big synths. Calm on some ways, but in other ways leading you down in a really cool way. Kind of curious, but let's look at the Hold On Tight first. Let me pull it back up here since I was on Epilogue. Hold on tight. Hold on tight to your dream. Hold on tight to your dream. When you see your ship go sailing, when you feel your heart is breaking, as he did, hold on tight to your dream. It's a long time to be gone. Time just rolls on and on. When you need a shoulder to cry on, when you get so sick of trying, just hold on to your dream. When you get so down you can't get up and you want so much but you're out of luck. When you're so downhearted and misunderstood and over you could just... Then I got to click on this because I'm not sure what it says. So the lines are a direct translation of the first verse. Hold on tight to your dreams and blah, 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 blah. Gotcha. Okay. When you get so down that you can't get up, you just want so much, you're out of luck. Just hold on tight to that dream. When you see the shadows falling, when you hear that cold wind calling. No matter what. Like I said, this is that last, like, you know what? I've cried my tears. My heart's been broken. I don't know how I got here, but I have a dream. I'm not letting it go. Said it entered the top 10 in several countries, topping the charts of Spain and Switzerland, peaking at number 4 in the UK, and reaching number 10 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Billboard called it an affectionate tip of the hat to 50s rock and roll, inspired by Jerry Lee Lewis, pumping piano style. Has that rockabilly lead vocals, soaring Beach Boys harmonies, patented ELO keyboard waves, and a good time for all. Man, that's a great way of describing it. That's a great way of describing it. And then let's go back to Epilogue here. To Epilogue. Go back this way. If I have to do it my way, we'll do it my way. We'll go back to Epilogue here. You should be so happy. You should be so glad, 21st century man. Though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow, you still wander the fields of your sorrow. Then he arrives on this day of all days. May the world still remember him. Time. So he may have gotten back. Let's find out. Now we can read about the story. Let's see. Following his final attempt to return to the past, the protagonist is invited to hold on. Anything else? Did they say? Matthews writes, like El Dorado, Time contained a prologue and an epilogue. Although there was hardly any plot to thread the various songs together, the theme remains largely intact. They embellish rather than engage. It's an interesting way of saying that. So is it kind of up in the air? The ending? What do you guys think? Let's click on this. Let's click on it. This line is referencing the fact that the album Time is following the story of a guy who's searching for his lost love. -5. Although it's not explicitly stated what happens, one can assume that things don't quite turn out right for the protagonist. Perhaps he's returned to the past to find his lover is gone, or maybe he's forever stuck in the future. I guess it's a little playfully ambiguous, huh? I guess that they leave it kind of okay. Listen, in case I didn't mention it enough, favorite track? You want to hear a part of it? Listen to it.
But I miss you so much till then. I met someone who looks a lot like you.
Oh, so I gotta tell you, I wanted to hear it again. Yours truly is easily my favorite track on this album. I think it's the best one. I love it. I'm gonna add it to my playlist because it deserves to be there. Where's my playlist? Where's my like songs? Save to your like songs. There we go. Another Heartbreaks. Lights go down.
All your dreams.
That's a good time. That's a really fantastic time. This was a really fun album to listen to. I had a great time listening to that one. Yours truly, though. Ooh, that one's going to be kicking soon in my car and on my runs and stuff. Ooh, that one's going to be kicking real good. I'll tell you that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here for the time. Thank you for the time. I didn't even mean that. Thank you for sharing a slice of your particular time with me. Thank you for spending some time with me, sharing some moments, sharing the music, and hopefully sharing your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your favorite tracks on the album as well. Where does this album rank in your particular hierarchy of ELO's albums? I'd love to know as well. I appreciate you all being here. Vin, thank you once again so much for the support and for the request. I truly appreciate that. I really hope that you guys had a good time. Please come on back again tomorrow. Press the like button before you leave, if you don't mind. Helps a great deal. And otherwise, I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.